Ladies and gentlemen, today I bring to light a tale that sounds more like a Hollywood thriller than real-life intelligence. A tale where diplomacy wears a disguise, casinos become classrooms, and the line between allies and enemies is blurred beyond recognition. The title may shock you, U.S. trained Iranian spies in Las Vegas casinos. But beneath the surface lies a web of geopolitical strategy, covert cooperation, an international subterfuge that the public rarely sees. In the shadowy world of espionage, not everything is as it seems. There have been unconfirmed reports and speculative whispers in intelligence circles that during brief periods of thawed relations between the USA and Iran, particularly in the post-9/11 era, and during back-channel nuclear negotiations, selected Iranian agents were allegedly given behavioral exposure inside Las Vegas casinos. But why casinos? Because in the world of spies, it's not just about guns and gadgets. It's about psychology, strategy, and reading people. And we're better to train those skills than on the casino floor, a place where deception is legal, bluffing is expected, and observation is survival. Today, I will explore 5 key dimensions of this controversial topic. Whether fact or fiction, the story forces us to ask how far do nations go to influence, educate, and even manipulate those they call enemies? Casinos as intelligence training grounds, 300 words. Las Vegas casinos may seem like unlikely places for spy training, but in the world of intelligence operations, they offer a perfect environment to teach some of the most essential espionage skills. Casinos are high-stakes arenas of psychology, deception, observation, and manipulation, all core competencies of a well-trained spy. Every game at the table is built around bluffing, reading opponents, masking intentions, and predicting behavior, skills that mirror the tactics used in covert operations. Spies are not just trained to use gadgets or weapons. They are trained to read faces, decode micro-expressions, detect lies, and anticipate patterns of behavior. Casinos serve as real-world simulators for this type of training. In the smoke-filled rooms of Las Vegas, agents can observe human behavior under stress, greed, risk, and temptation, all while blending into the crowd. Moreover, casinos are under constant surveillance. Cameras unknown as eye in the sky monitor every move, allowing intelligence instructors to review footage and analyze decision-making in real time. Operatives can be trained to move discreetly, communicate nonverbally, follow targets unnoticed, or plant listening devices while surrounded by noise and distractions. Reports and speculative claims suggest that during covert collaborations, select Iranian operatives were introduced to such environments not for pleasure, but for skill development. The casinos became unconventional classrooms where poker tables replaced lecture halls and seasoned intelligence mentors stood in place of professors. This kind of training doesn't leave a paper trail, no official curriculum, no classroom photos, no certificate of completion. But for a spy, the lessons learned in these chaotic, sensory overloading environments can be more valuable than years of classroom theory. The ability to study others while never revealing yourself is the first rule of espionage, and there's no better place to learn it than a Las Vegas casino. The power of controlled environments, 300 words, one of the core reasons intelligence agencies favor environments like Las Vegas casinos for training is because they offer the perfect blend of control and unpredictability. In espionage, real-world experience is essential, but sending a trainee into an actual foreign intelligence operation without preparation can be disastrous. That's why environments like casinos, which are packed with unpredictable human behavior yet tightly monitored, become ideal simulators for training agents. Casinos may seem chaotic on the surface, but beneath that surface lies a highly structured system. Every square inch is covered by surveillance cameras, every dealer, pit boss, and security guard follows strict protocols. The house controls the rules of engagement, much like an intelligence agency does during operations. This makes it an ideal testing ground for observing behavior, conducting low-risk surveillance, and practicing situational awareness under pressure. For alleged Iranian operatives receiving training, casinos provided a place to experience behavioral chaos without stepping into an uncontrolled threat zone. They could learn to study people's emotional responses to winning and losing, analyze shifts in mood, recognize micro-expressions that hint at deception, and note how small physical changes signal stress or dishonesty. These skills are crucial in spycraft, whether you're interrogating someone, negotiating a deal, or walking into a trap. Additionally, casino environments simulate stress in a safe way. Agents learn to stay composed amidst noise, flashing lights, financial tension, and unpredictable people. It's an immersion experience, no scripts, no staged actors, just real reactions from real people. This makes the training more authentic and effective than any classroom or laboratory simulation. In essence, the casino becomes a controlled battlefield of human psychology where trainees are monitored, guided, and evaluated without ever stepping outside the boundaries of legality. It's espionage training hidden in plain sight. Backchannel diplomacy and shadow collaborations, 300 words. In the complex world of international relations, diplomacy is rarely limited to official embassies and press conferences. Behind closed doors, backchannel diplomacy plays a critical role, secret communications and unofficial negotiations between rival nations. The idea that the USA and Iran, two countries with a history of hostility, could collaborate on intelligence training may sound far-fetched, but history is filled with stranger partnerships driven by mutual interest, not mutual trust. Following 9/11, the global focus on terrorism shifted many alliances and forced rival nations to temporarily align on intelligence matters. Iran, with its deep understanding of regional militant networks, quietly cooperated with U.S. efforts in Afghanistan. During these rare windows of strategic overlap, opportunities for covert exchanges, prisoner swaps, and intelligence discussions emerged. It's within this secretive landscape that the alleged training of Iranian operatives in Las Vegas finds speculative credibility. Such cooperation would never be official. It would involve intermediaries, intelligence office, third-party countries, or even private contractors. The objective: influence. If the U.S. could train selected Iranian intelligence agents, it could shape their worldview, insert psychological triggers, or even subtly recruit them as future assets. Training may not have looked like traditional spy school. Instead, it might have involved exposing Iranian personnel to Western surveillance techniques, behavioral science, or even game theory, all packaged within neutral, low-profile environments like casinos. These places offer discretion, access to international crowds, and enough plausible deniability to mask the true intent of the meetings. This kind of collaboration is not about trust, but leverage. Training someone today may not help tomorrow, but in the intelligence world, seeds planted quietly often grow into strategic advantages years later. Shadow diplomacy thrives on risk, and sometimes risk is shaking hands with your enemy to shape their future moves. You said expend key point 4 without ending in 300 words. ChatGPT said it expanded key point 48. The thin line between cooperation and betrayal, 300 words. In the shadowy realm of intelligence and foreign relations, the line between strategic cooperation and outright betrayal is often dangerously thin. When a nation chooses to provide training or exposure to operatives from a hostile or rival country, it walks a tightrope between gaining influence and empowering a future threat. This is precisely the moral and strategic dilemma that would surround any alleged U.S. involvement in training Iranian spies within Las Vegas casinos. On one hand, intelligence agencies constantly seek to infiltrate, study, or quietly shape the behavior of their adversaries. Offering controlled training, especially in areas like surveillance recognition, psychological analysis, or deception tactics, could serve as a way to gain subtle leverage. By exposing Iranian agents to U.S. methods, agencies might implant misleading assumptions or gather psychological profiles that could be used later for manipulation or recruitment. However, this approach is inherently risky. Once trained, those same operatives return to their own country and intelligence services with enhanced skills, possibly using what they've learned against U.S. interests. Today's student could become tomorrow's enemy, sharper and more dangerous because of the training received under American oversight. There is also the issue of internal betrayal. If elements within the CIA or other agencies initiated such collaborations without full governmental oversight or public accountability, it raises questions of loyalty to national policy and democratic transparency. Covert dealings with enemy operatives can be seen as pragmatic by some and treasonous by others. This kind of decision, if it occurred, would be made deep within the most secret corridors of power, where actions are justified not by morality, but by long-term strategic calculations. It's a brutal reality of intelligence work. Sometimes you feed the wolf, hoping it will chase your enemy. But in doing so, you risk getting bitten yourself. Media silence and the importance of questioning narratives, 300 words. One of the most intriguing aspects of the alleged story that Iranian spies were trained in Las Vegas casinos is the near total silence from mainstream media. In an age where leaks, exposés, and investigative journalism are common, the lack of coverage on such a sensational and provocative topic is telling in itself. This silence raises an important question: is the media avoiding the story because it's baseless, or because it's too explosive to touch? Mainstream outlets often operate within certain boundaries shaped by access, government influence, national security protocols, and editorial priorities. Sensitive intelligence matters involving covert U.S. operations, especially ones that could reveal cooperation with a geopolitical enemy like Iran, are frequently kept under wraps. In some cases, stories are intentionally buried or ignored to avoid diplomatic fallout or public outrage. This is where independent journalists, whistleblowers, and alternative platforms play a crucial role. Fringe reports and speculative articles about Iranian agents receiving behavioral training in U.S. environments like casinos may sound conspiratorial at first, but they invite deeper inquiry. Even if the story is exaggerated or incomplete, it forces us to ask, what don't we know? What isn't being reported? Furthermore, the intelligence community thrives on misdirection and ambiguity. A lack of media coverage doesn't prove the event didn't happen. It may simply indicate that it is being intentionally obscured. In the realm of espionage, silence often speaks louder than noise. This highlights the importance of public skepticism and critical thinking. Not all conspiracy theories are true, but not all truths are convenient enough to be printed on the front page either. Questioning official narratives, examining unexplored angles, seeking diverse sources is how we uncover what lies beneath the surface of world events, even those happening in the unlikeliest places, like a casino floor. Whether this story is a blend of fact and fiction or a glimpse into real covert operations, it reveals something essential in the game of nations. Even the enemy can be a student, and even Las Vegas can be a classroom for war. Thank you.